Hi, welcome back to our podcast, Books Don't Review Themselves. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Kim.
And today we are doing a special episode.
Candyman, the 1992 horror movie starring Virginia Madsen and Tony Todd. I'll read a brief synopsis off of Google so you can know about the movie if you've never watched it, which if you haven't, what is wrong with you? But anyway, skeptical graduate student Helen Lyle, a.k.a. Virginia Madsen, befriends Anne-Marie McCoy, a.k.a. Vanessa Williams. And not the Vanessa Williams you're probably thinking of who had the scandal with the Playboy thing, or she was Miss America or something and she had nudes in Playboy. It's a different Vanessa Williams. Okay, so anyway, while researching superstitions in a housing project on Chicago's near north side, from Anne-Marie, Helen learns about the Candyman, a.k.a. Tony Todd, a hook-wielding figure of urban legend that some of her neighbors believe to be responsible for a recent murder, as well as many, many other murders that have happened throughout the years. After a mysterious man matching the Candyman's description begins stalking her, Helen comes to fear that the legend may be all too real. It has a 74% on Rotten Tomatoes, which for a horror movie is actually really good, because usually they do not get that good. On IMDb, they have a 6.6 out of 10, which is also pretty good too. I just want to say really quick that this was a story written by Clive Barker, and it was called The Forbidden. He did not write the script for this movie, The Candyman. Someone else did. But Clive Barker was the executive producer of it. Clive Barker is a horror master genius. He writes very good things. Now, to sidetrack really quick before we get into what Jessica thought, in June of 2020, they're going to have a remake of Candyman coming out. And I'm very excited about this. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh my God, you should never remake anything. This movie came out in 92, so that was many years ago. Things have changed.
The graphics and
exactly
everything will be so much better.
I like remakes. But what I'm excited about, besides the fact that Jordan Peele is directing it, he might even be writing it too, I'm not sure, but Clive Barker is actually writing the script. So the man who wrote the story will actually be writing the script.
We should do an episode on that one.
I'll go watch it in the theater.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about that. Like I said, I think it's June 2020 it should be coming out. So what would you rate it? What do you think? Yeah.
Okay.
And if you didn't like it, that's perfectly fine.
I didn't really like it.
Mm-hmm.
But part of me thinks that some of the reason I didn't like it is because it
was so old.
So old, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was kind of funny because, so we decided to start this series where Kim was going to pick like one of her favorite older movies or whatever that I haven't seen. And so I got a text saying that, like, you know, you need to watch Candyman. I'm like, okay. And so I told my husband, I'm like, Kim wants me to watch Candyman. And he starts laughing. And he's like, you're not going to like it. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, you have to pay attention. And then,
that's what I told you. I'm like, you cannot have your computer or your phone when you watch these things.
And then he's like, yeah, I just watched it last week, actually.
Really?
The time we had sat down. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, it came up on Netflix as like a suggested movie for him, so he watched it. And so
had he seen it before?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
And so he watched it with me again. And I'm not someone who is and I guess I don't have a lot to base it off of, but I'm not typically someone who likes gory horror.
And this had gory.
Yeah, and I like more of that, like, psychological stuff. So, like, the gore in it, some of it was a little, like, it was just like, all right, like,
so
like someone just fake. Like took a bunch of fake blood.
Yeah.
But then there were a couple parts that it's like you're kind of like, ooh,
that's
like,
nasty.
Ooh.
And this was back in 92. So imagine in the remake of 2020 how much more they could do.
Me a little, yeah. And that's the thing is I feel like gore back in 92, it's just like, then like
said, buckets of blood.
When I see gore now, it's just like, ugh, you know what I mean? It's just it's gonna be interesting to see like the hook and how they're gonna execute it, because like with
the
makeup
hook was
and stuff,
gross in this movie.
It was
the chunks of it was just nasty.
Yeah, and
And it had like 2 nails driven in to hold the hook in, and oh my god.
Yes. I remember being like really grossed out when she was like in the bathroom and like lifts the toilet seats and it's like all these maggots and I'm like, ugh.
No, it was bees, I think.
Was
it was
it?
supposed to be bees, yeah. That whole bathroom was disgusting. And I mean the whole it's Cabrini Green in Chicago where they go, where the most of the movie is, where Candyman is. And I know it's the projects, but it's like, I've never understood how people can be so disrespectful to where they live, you know, and just have garbage and like feces painted on the wall. Graffiti, I'm fine with graffiti, whatever, you know, that is a style of art. But you don't have to be dirty and gross. And that was the thing I was thinking through this entire movie. I'm just like, have some respect, people. You know, I mean, even if you're super poor and have a shit life, you don't have to poop on the floor or, you know, throw your garbage right there. You know, that
you can make the best of what you've got.
Exactly.
And you would almost think the less you have, the more like
you take care of it.
Anal retentive you would be about like just.
But then Anne-Marie, was it Anne-Marie? Yeah, you go into her apartment and she has a very nice apartment, you know? So
she was kind of an anomaly, I guess.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's more people, you know, we only get to see inside of her apartment. So maybe everyone else had really nice inside apartments, but I'm like, you don't, that just, and it was gross. Like you said, just looking at it and how dingy and dark, and there looked to be like fluids everywhere. I kid you not. It was like, it just seemed like poop was just everywhere. And I'm just like, oh my God. To me, that was the horror part of it. I'm like, yuck.
And I don't know, it just seemed like a lot of the gore scenes, it was just like, how can we get as much fake blood in this scene?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Which a lot of the horror movies are that way. And I mean, some people love that. I don't watch the horror movies for that.
Well, and I think that's why I don't necessarily like horror movies, is because I like more of like the psychological stuff that kind of makes you start thinking about stuff. Like if I just see like when she goes in and the baby's like gone and there's just blood and whatever, like that part kind of got me thinking like, oh God, did she kill the baby? Where was the baby? Whatever. So, and it's like in that
you're wondering if she's blacking out time and
right.
stuff.
And so in that sense, it was like, but some of the other stuff, it was just like, why? Like, what? Like, it's just like, what was the purpose of the added gore? Like, where you just, it's again, when you like read a book and they just like go way over the top and they didn't need to. That's kind of how I feel about some horror movies.
It's just like the shock value for it.
I haven't watched a lot of horror movies, so I don't really have it to compare to. So it'd be interesting because I'm sure there'll be more.
Have you ever seen Scream? The first Scream? You'll be watching that next.
She's like,
what the hell? Because that has more. See, why I like horror movies, it's not the blood and guts and stuff. And there's a lot of women being abused and raped. I do not like that. That is not what I enjoy about horror movies. What I enjoy, first of all, just the jump scares when they're done well, you know. And in this one,
I like those at home. I don't like them at the movie
theater. No.
Oh, they scare the fuck out of me.
Spirits will be sitting next to me and I just like grab him and just like, oh my God. But even having watched this, I've probably seen it like 4 or 5 times before. I mean, years ago and whatnot. But I still jumped like twice in this movie. And to me, there were some cheap jump scares. You know, you knew it was coming, but you still jumped. But there's like 2 that I was like, really, I'm like, oh my God, you know, just a little. But the other reason why I like horror movies, and it's kind of in the same vein of yours, if it's a psychological horror, I love that. But almost every horror movie, well, I shouldn't say almost every, but a lot of horror movies have a mystery in them. And I love that mystery. You know, you have the insane asylum, you know, and most of the time it's, you know, the doctor was abusing the patients and that was the mystery. But that's the part I enjoy too, is trying to figure out the mystery. And this one, the mystery is kind of told at the beginning, you kind of know through the legend. But then by the time it ends, there's still more added to the mystery. So I enjoyed that part of it.
I really didn't like the husband.
Oh, he was a dick.
And it's like from early on, it's like I knew
he was having an affair.
Yeah, something was going on. And of course it was going to be the college fucking girl, obviously. Yep. And then after we finished watching this, it was funny because, and I don't know all like the actors' names or whatever, but the person that played the reporter, Helen?
Virginia Madsen?
Yeah. Just like, she kind of annoyed me a little at some points.
I was like, how can you be so stupid, too?
And she's like, Trevor. Just like, so like literally we had paused the movie, I think, to get some, like, dinner or whatever, and, like, I'm like, Trevor! And, like, Josh and I just kept walking around the house, Trevor!
And you texted me afterwards, and she just texted me, Trevor. I'm like, what are you talking about? Because it had been years since I've seen the Candyman. I'm like, what?
And then, like, I get to text Candyman 5 times. And then, like, the part where she, they were at that other apartment, and then she crawls through the, like, fucking mirror thing. I'm like, what are you doing?
First of all, okay, this annoyed me, and this is just totally stupid. So a mirror was, like, this big. And then she's crawling through it, and it's, like, this big. I'm like, come on. Anyway, what,
Yeah, but the part of, they're like, yeah, we don't know what's behind, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what?
Why would you do that?
Why are you crawling in there? Excuse me. Like,
for me, once again, it'd be the dirtiness. I'd be like, nope, can't do it.
Sorry. Like spiders and whatever, and
poop,
cobwebs
poop
and poop
everywhere.
Yeah. So like, I think it will definitely be interesting to see the remake of it.
I'm excited. I'm so excited.
I wonder if they're going to change anything.
I don't know. But I was going to say, no one can ever, like, replace Tony Todd for the Candyman, though. I wonder who they're getting, because to me, his voice, his demeanor, his presence, oh, dear God. Oh.
Yeah.
The thing that did annoy me, when he kept saying, be my victim. I'm just like... And then, it reminded me of Phantom of the Opera, you know, in that regard. And what made me laugh, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, my God. And I really enjoy Phantom of the Opera. So... I don't know why that annoyed me, but it just did. But I was reading something online, and Tony Todd said he always wanted to, like, be part of the Phantom of the Opera or something. So he even, you know, felt it the same way, too. The other thing, too, that made me kind of laugh, they use, like, real bees. They use, like, 20,000, 30,000 real bees. Now, they can breed them where they don't have stingers and stuff. But, like, in addition to Tony's contract... He said for every bee sting he gets, he would get an extra $1,000. So back in '92, I mean, $1,000, you know, was decent. Right. He got stung, I believe, 23 times. So he got an additional $2,300. I'm just like
23,000.
23,000. Yeah, I'm sorry, 2,300. 23,000. So
that's a lot.
23 bee stings, and then I guess Virginia Madsen, she was like deathly allergic. I believe it was her. It was like deathly allergic to bees. I'm just like, oh dear God, why would you do that movie then?
Right.
So yeah, just little trivia things.
I guess I'm surprised, and this is coming from Wikipedia. So it says the release date was September 11th, 1992. Mm-hmm. It says United States release date was October 16th, 1992. So I would have been a little over a year old when it came out. And then...
Still no excuse.
But it's kind of interesting. I kind of want to, like, ask my parents, or especially my dad, like, have you seen the Candyman? Yeah. Or, like, whatever. But I'm kind of surprised. It looks like it says the budget was $8 to $9 million,
which back then is a lot.
Yeah, it seems like a lot. And
for a horror movie.
And it said box office was $25.7 million.
That's a good chunk of change.
So I just think that's pretty
impressive
for '92.
Yeah, and I mean it could be the stars that they had, and I mean Clive Barker, depending how popular he was then. You know, he did the Hellraiser series too, so. If Hellraiser came out before this, that did well, so they could have been, you know, banking on that as well. Yeah, that's a chunk of change for a horror movie, and back then.
It'll be interesting to see the remake. Helen was just super fucking annoying to me.
She was. But unfortunately...
I had to laugh at the, kind of towards the end when the girlfriend or whatever was, like, making dinner and, like, getting pissed, and she's like, honey, and then she's like...
Throwing
with stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck, you bitch? Like,
and the color she was painting the plays. Oh my God! It was like this nasty pink, like Pepto-Bismol pink. The entire apartment. I'm just like, I don't care how good her vagina is and how well she can suck on your penis. That's disgusting. You do not let her paint your apartment that color.
And it wasn't like an accent. It was like just the entire thing.
Place. And did you see how she painted too? It was like. It was just like a splotch here, a splotch there. And then like when Helen comes in from the insane asylum and confronts them, she's standing by the phone and there's like a little tiny wall there. It wasn't even like painted like completely. I'm just like, how do you paint, girl? How do you paint? So yeah, these are the things I look at when I watch horror movies.
Well, and to be fair, it's super noticeable because she's from '92. Right there.
Oh,
you know, and I think like when it's remade, you know, the room's probably not going to be Pepto-Bismol pink
God, I
and
hope
other
not.
things and whatever.
It'll still be pink. Isn't the Instagram or millennial pink or something? Isn't that a thing, or wasn't that a thing?
Oh.
Isn't millennial pink? I swear to God. Okay, keep talking. I'm gonna Google that.
I guess the other thing that was kind of
millennial pink. It's a thing.
the other thing that was weird for me with Helen was like the whole insane asylum thing when she was like alone with the doctor, and then all of a sudden it was just like.
That part made me laugh.
I'm just like
that is so disgusting.
Right, and then like
he's like, "You're mine now."
Yeah. I don't know, man. This movie was just so...
That part was pretty far out there.
Like, I just felt like a lot of the time I was watching it, I'm just like, what?
And I swear to God, when I watched it years ago, it felt like it had more of a mystery to me. But now watching it this time, it didn't.
Yeah.
It kind of tells you straight up. Oh, and remember when they were having dinner with the two people, they must have been professors too, and she's like, "We're going to bury you with our research." And then he's like, "Do you even know the story?" And she didn't even know the story. This, like, obnoxious middle-aged white man who was totally mansplaining to her, like, had to tell her the story. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is horrible.
Like, the other thing, too, is that I guess I didn't really understand why she was like, "We're going to bury you with her." It's like...
You don't have any research. You have some pictures.
Well, and even then, it's like, great. Like, you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah. Yeah, watching them nowadays.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, what?
Like I said, I'm sure in 92 this was like crazy, but I'm really interested to see what I think of like the remake, having seen this one now.
And also having, a black man being a lead character. I mean, back in 92, that was like not done. Yeah. So that was awesome too. My memories of it were better than
than rewatching it now.
I mean, I would still give it a 4 just because for that time period it was done very well. I mean, if you haven't watched it and if you enjoy horror movies, I'm sure you've seen it. I would still say watch it anyway just because.
I mean, yeah, really, how much time is it going to take? And it's on Netflix. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like, this is just something that's not typically up my alley. Mm-hmm. I guess the only really thing that I can think of, because looking at the, like, movie poster of it, it just kind of gives me a little bit of, like, Silence of the Lamb vibes a little bit.
Okay.
And I really like Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, and that was a lot of psychological...
Yeah, like...
horror. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I hope you enjoy that one then, because to me... It definitely has more mystery.
I feel like that's going to really scare me.
Yeah, you should watch it when Josh is home.
And, like, during daytime.
Yeah, like at noon.
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, these things creep me the fuck out. Like, I guess the way that I look at it is legends and ghosts and that kind of stuff. It's just, like...
scary?
They are scary.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Because... They're more scary to me than
Freddy Krueger or Jason.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're even kind of more scary than like serial killers in a way to me, because it's like, I guess the way that I look at it is like when I went to see Annabelle and I go home and I'm thinking about it and I'm like, legitly, if there's a fucking ghost, like, I can't do anything.
Exactly.
Like, there's nothing I can do to protect myself. There's nothing I can do to, like, get away from it. There's, it is what it is.
They don't like iron, so if you have, like, an iron poker for your fireplace, and you can also make yourself a salt circle, that can help. So, just in case.
John, why is there all this salt here? I needed to sleep.
And sage your house, too. That's
But, like, that's just... That kind of stuff just really creeps me out.
Because you can't do anything about it.
Right. Mm-hmm. And it's like, when I watch... I guess I haven't watched any of the Michael Myers stuff. Does that kind of, like, freak me out? Yes. Mm-hmm. But not as much as, like, that paranormal stuff.
So, I imagine you've never watched Urban Legend?
No. I haven't seen The Matrix.
Well, that's fine. Some people love it, and it was okay.
Like, my coworkers are like, what?
Yeah.
The Matrix.
I mean, once again, it comes back to when it came out. When it came out, it was mind-boggling. Nowadays, it'd be like, okay. But, like, Urban Legend, to me, that's more of, there's gore in it and stuff, and there's mystery, but it's more of a comedy horror to me, and those I enjoy.
Because I guess... When I, like, I guess I can remember when I was younger on Nickelodeon, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Mm-hmm.
Scared the living fuck out of me. Like, legitly had, like, nightmares, screaming, crying that my parents would, like, have to come in and, like, see if I was okay because I would have a nightmare. And I don't think they realized I was watching this or, like, Goosebumps.
Okay.
A lot of that stuff just scared the ever-living shit out of me. It's just something, like The Ring. Like that.
We talked about that before. To me, I hate the jerky thing in movies. I don't like that.
I get really motion sickness from that. Like Blair Witch Project, I've seen that. I had to, like, we legitly had to stop watching for a couple hours so I could, like, feel better. Again, that's something that creeps me out because it's like...
You go into my kitchen, you never know what, I might have some of those hanging.
It's like when I watched It, Josh was expecting me to, like, really be kind of, like... And I wasn't because I told him, I'm like, I'm not really concerned about killer clowns in the
sewer.
Yeah, in the sewer. Like, when we went in the movie theater, were there parts that made me jump? Yeah, whatever. But it's totally different than, like, these legends or whatever. When I think of that, like, in this movie, there was a physical person that like played this legend, but. Like the legends where it's like, oh, that hotel's haunted. They said like 20 years ago this happened there or whatever. Like that kind of stuff scares the fuck out of me because it's like...
The Hotel Mead, there's one of the rooms that's supposed to be haunted in there. I'll have to go online, maybe spend a night in there and see what happens.
Oh my god, I'm just going to be sitting there with like a flashlight like
and a knife.
Then we're going to make every noise.
What is that? We should go to like a real like haunted hotel sometime. There was one someplace in Wisconsin and they have like 3 or 4 rooms. It's really freaking expensive and you can choose your nightmare. Like one is a clown room, obviously. I think another one's maybe a doll room. But basically...
That's the other thing. Dolls? Nope.
Yeah.
Old people? Nope.
Old people. Oh, we'll get back to old people in a second. So anyway, getting back to this hotel, like basically you get there at 5 or something for happy hour. And they have like, funky...
So they have you all boozed up for the fucking...
Exactly. I mean, you don't have to drink if you don't want, but they have like weird concoctions and stuff. And then you can leave for dinner if you'd like, but you have to be back to the hotel by 10 p.m., and, like, they lock the doors. Obviously, you can still get out, but, the doors...
That's part of the
exactly.
Factor, yeah.
And then at midnight, that's when the horror begins. And I don't know what happens. I don't know, like,
Do they add things to the horror?
They add things. Like, people come into your room and stuff like that. I believe that's what this is.
Okay.
So you know what's going to happen. I mean, you're paying...
So is it... It's basically like an overnight haunted house type thing.
Yes.
Okay, so it's
That's
not like
very
real
interactive.
ghosts?
No, it's people. And these people, I believe they used to run a haunted house, like in Green Bay or something for years.
What world have we become where we are paying for an entire fucking overnight
I so want to
of
go.
Like shitting my pants and anxiety?
And I think it's like $300 or $400. I think it's pretty expensive, but I'm just like, oh God, I so want to go one day.
Like on your bucket list. Well, like I remember, and I feel like I brought this up in a different podcast episode, but there was like a smaller haunted house, and the one that I went to in high school, and the one thing that scared the shit out of me was the one part where we walked into, and it like this room area, and it was like, because this was done like in a barn or something. And it was this old lady with, like, a doll without a head. And there was, like, this old-time TV with just static. And she's just walking up to me. And I remember, like, just shoving one of my friends over a fucking hay bale and going running. Because I was just like, fuck that. And I'm screaming, like, don't touch me. Don't touch. Like, that. Like, Annabelle. Like, that kind of stuff. It's just, like, I don't know what it is. And that's intriguing to me, too, is, like, what makes...
You so scared about it?
Right. Like... why is that my trigger? Like, what is, you know what I mean? Because I remember I went with some friends. There's, like, ghost hunters or something in Wausau. Okay. And they're, like, around Halloween or maybe on Halloween, they do ghost tours to different areas of Wausau downtown and the 400 block that are haunted places. And there's, like, this one hotel where they were saying that someone jumped. And I'm like, I can see that. And then, like... There was, I think there's, like, an Herbert's and Gerbert's, and, like, actually one of the employees like took us upstairs to show us, and they're like, yeah, like we'll hear noises and whatever. And so that was kind of fun, but also kind of creepy because like hotels, like big hotels, it's just like, yeah, someone definitely jumped. Like, and it's really morbid that I think about that a lot. Like, I don't think about it like on a regular basis, but I mean, like when I'm in like a big city or something and I see like this big building, I'm just like, I wonder how many people jumped off of that, you know?
For me, what gets me, it's more like the insane asylums or the old hospitals that had like TB patients and stuff, you know, and then they have like a tunnel that goes from the hospital out to like their backwoods, and that's like where they buried all these TB people. And you know that place is like just full of ghosts. Those are the places that scare me. I'm just like, oh dear God.
Yeah. And that would scare me too. But I don't feel like I encounter that.
Yeah. I mean, you have to go to the place.
Right.
It's not like you're going to be spending the night there unless you...
But yeah, definitely some of these older hotels, it's just like...
The reason I was laughing before when you said about or old people, there is a...
Oh, I hate...
Did you watch that one?
I hate it. I hate
M. Night Shyamalan's movie, The Visit.
I hate it.
There was one part in it, I think it was with the grandpa.
That's the part I hated the most in it, was that old fucking lady where she's like...
and she's all like creepy and jerky.
Yeah.
It was the jerkiness that bothered me with her. But in The Visit, the one part with the grandpa, like towards the end, I was just like, dear God. I mean,
that the part with like the diaper and the shit?
Once again, it comes down to shit, people. I can't handle shit.
Oh,
that movie was messed up. It was a good movie.
Inside. No, I fucking hated that movie. I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. Hated it. Like, and that's the type of thing where it's like I watch this shit to fit in. Like, I do not enjoy, like, yes, it was a good, like, it was well done and like, yes, it was a good movie and blah, 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 but I fucking hated it. Like, I hate that stuff. Like, that movie is the epitome of what scares the shit out of me. And like the fucking old grandma, and it's always someone with like completely gray hair and like blue eyes and just like just this withered old grandmother that's just like, oh honey, yeah. And then cookies? She's like, can you get in the oven? And I'm like,
what?
And yeah, the shit that was like, oh my God, I fucking hated that movie. So after
you watch Scream, then we'll watch like Clue afterwards, so you have something to like calm down a bit with.
To like handle my anxiety. Part of me kind of wants to like rewatch that again to just see if I really do hate it as much as I remember. But I'm like 99.8% positive that I hate that fucking movie. Not because it was bad.
No, it was a good movie.
It was a good movie. That's why I fucking hate it.
Did you ever see
And I watched that one at night.
Oh, did you? Yeah, you need to watch it in the day. Did you ever see Jordan Peele's, either one of his two movies?
No. Which one?
Get Out and Us.
I like Jordan Peele.
Get Out was his first one, and
Josh bought Get Out, so he owns it on Apple. I have not seen it.
Like that one because it's like twisted, and
it's not just
horror. There's really not a lot of horror to it. It's like messed up with your mind type of horror.
Yeah, and you said Get Out, so I know Get Out, and I heard that was a really good movie. And you said Us.
That one, I enjoyed it, but I didn't like it as much as Get Out, but I still enjoyed it.
Us, I have not heard about.
That came out, I think, last summer, maybe, or this summer.
It said 2019. Why do I not recall this one?
Like, the cover always has the scissors on it. It was the main actress, the leading lady. She was amazing. She was so good. Looking at these
pictures, I can tell you I'm not going to like it.
There's more gore, I think, in this one, but it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't recall this, but I can just tell you looking at just like the images, I'm like, this is gonna scare me a lot.
It has more.
There was another movie that I wanted to see, but like at the same time did not want to see. Mama. That's what the movie's called.
Oh yeah. That one I want to see. It came out this summer, and we didn't go to it, but I want to see that one.
Okay, a different Mama came out.
Or was it just Ma? It was just Ma.
It was Ma, yes. Mama. I feel like I've seen Mama.
Yeah, that was with the two girls, I think, and like it's a ghost mom and stuff. Octavia Spencer.
Yes.
Yes. She is awesome. Oh, Juliette Lewis is in it too. I like her.
Oh, this is funny.
And it's a psychological horror, so you're going to probably enjoy it.
We talked about box office's numbers. This says box office was $60.6 million.
Yeah.
That's like triple.
That is, but think about it. It's also 92.
Right.
So to me, I mean, that's a good chunk of change, but I still think Candyman was more impressive.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if Candyman was technically a higher percentage if you were to figure out, like, okay, the exchange and time and whatever.
Probably.
Yeah, Ma definitely, when I saw commercials, it's like I wanted to see it because of the psychological stuff, but it definitely, like, I'm not going to see this in theaters because it's going to scare me a lot.
I wonder when it came out May 31st, which was my mother's birthday.
Oh my God. The budget was only $5 million.
That is crazy what they can do when they want to. And a lot of times horror movies are like really
If I
cheap.
go home and tell Josh, like, I want to watch Ma, he'd be like, absolutely.
If you do, let me know. I'll come over. It says the release date was September 3rd, so it's out already.
I should see if we should watch it.
We should. That'd be fun.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be fucking creepy.
It's going to be awesome. Thank you for reminding me of it.
She was nominated, Saturn Awards, whatever the fuck that is, for Best Actress and Best Thriller Film. Ma was
really
nominated.
I hope she wins. She's freaking awesome.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff. Yeah, The Visit. I wonder if this one would scare me as much. Like, the previews were pretty fucking scary just because she gets
wacko. And
you see creepy so well.
She does, or she did, or whatever. But and in one part of the preview, so I don't think I'm spoiling anything for people who haven't seen it, the children all look dead to me. In Ma, in one of the previews.
Okay.
They were like down in the basement and they all looked dead. So either they're really dead or she like drugged them all and they look dead. So I'm just like, ooh.
That's the other thing. It's like Anthony Hopkins. He plays such a good fucking weirdo too.
He does.
And it's not like he's like, I get it, he's eating people, like he's Hannibal Lecter, I get that.
But it's a psychological once again.
But he's not creepy.
No.
You know, it's like
he's actually a handsome man, I think. And his voice. I like his
voice. I do. And like,
he's sophisticated.
There was something, God, this is going to bug me now. There was something that he had narrated or something that I'm like, that's Anthony Hopkins. Like, I think it was How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh, okay. I could see him doing that.
You know, but he just played, he wasn't gross. He was very clean and whatever, clean cut in all his movies, in the Hannibal series. But he just like was very...
that eye is creepy. Yeah, it was just like, oh my God. Did you ever see the TV series of Hannibal Lecter?
No.
It was good. It was weird. It was very weird. It was like, it reminded me at times like of a 70s acid trip, but it was good. And the main character, I'm not sure who played Hannibal Lecter, but he also had that sophisticated creepiness really well.
I like that a lot. I like the clean cut psychopaths. I don't know what.
So you're more of a Dracula lover than like the swamp thing. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
For you.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I enjoy about watching like horror movies that I watched as a kid or a teen or whatever, and then like watching them now. Like you see these actors like I didn't realize back then, and then you see them, and you're like, oh my God, that's Nicolas Cage or that's whoever, and I find that amusing as well.
Yep, it says right here in 2000, Hopkins narrated How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Cool.
So I thought that was just a very fun contrast.
Well, anything else on Candyman or?
No, I mean I look forward to the remake.
Definitely June 2020.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if I like the remake better or if I still am like, eh.
Next time we'll be watching Scream and reviewing that one, and then we'll do Clue after that, and we'll write down other ones that we want to watch.
Can't wait.
Well, once again, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.